Listen closely. Imagine the sound of early morning. The sky is still soft and blue. The streets are quiet. A new day is beginning. You wake up in a small hotel room in a new city. You stretch your arms, take a deep breath, and smile. Today will be a day of learning, exploring, and discovering. And to begin this day, you need to travel across the city. How will you do that? Maybe by bus, maybe by taxi, or maybe, like many travelers, you will learn to choose the best option in different situations. Today, on the Today English podcast, we will walk together through the real experience of traveling in a foreign city, using simple English that you can understand, feel, and practice. We will listen to sounds, imagine the scenes, and learn the real phrases people use in everyday life. Not difficult English. Not textbook English. Real English. Let us begin. Imagine you are standing inside your hotel room. You look out the window. You can see buses moving slowly on the main road. A few taxis are waiting near the corner. People are walking quickly, heading to work. The city is awake. You need to go to the other side of the city. Maybe you want to visit a museum, a park, a school, a university, or maybe a friend. But first, you need to decide. Should you take a bus or a taxi? Each choice will give you a different journey and a different experience. And today, we will explore both. You pick up your small backpack. You check your phone. You make sure you have your wallet, your room key, and your confidence. Traveling is not only about moving from one place to another. It is also about learning how the world speaks, how people communicate, and how you can feel comfortable with English in real life. So you open the door slowly, step into the hallway, walk to the elevator, and go down to the ground floor. The hotel worker at the desk smiles and says, "Good morning." You smile back. Even that simple moment is English practice. One word, one smile, one step forward. The hotel doors slide open, and now you are outside. The air is cool. You hear birds, cars, footsteps. You hear a bus engine in the distance. You feel the energy of the city. You look left and right. You think about your journey. And now the question returns, bus or taxi? You walk slowly to the bus stop first. There are a few people already waiting. Some are checking their phones. Some are drinking coffee. No one is talking. Everyone is waiting. You look at the sign, and it shows the bus numbers. You look for the number that takes you close to your destination. And finally, you see it. Yes, bus number 14. That is the one you need. You feel a small moment of relief. You are in the right place. You know where to go. But now you must wait. Waiting is part of travel. You cannot control time. But you can enjoy the world while waiting. You can observe. You can learn. You can practice listening to conversations around you. You can hear someone say, "The bus is always late." You can hear another person say, "I hope it comes soon." Every sentence, even short ones, is a piece of natural English. Then you see the bus coming from far away. It becomes bigger as it gets closer. The people around start moving forward slowly. The bus stops, the door opens, and the sound of air release fills the air. You enter the bus. Now, the real travel experience begins. Inside, it is warm. You hear low conversation, the engine, and the soft beeping sound as people tap their travel cards. Someone behind you says, "Could you move forward, please?" You move ahead and hold a handrail. The bus starts moving gently. And now we are truly traveling. Let us pause for a moment. In this podcast, we are not learning English only with rules or grammar. We are learning English with images, feelings, and real situations. You are not memorizing a vocabulary list. You are living the language. When you imagine yourself in the bus, noticing the sounds, the people, and the conversations, your brain feels the English instead of only thinking about it. And language learned with emotion stays longer and becomes natural. Back on the bus, you look outside the window. Buildings pass by. A woman puts her headphones on. Someone sneezes. Someone laughs softly. The driver looks serious and focused. Then a man near the door says to the driver, "Next stop, please." And the driver answers, "No problem." Simple phrases. Real phrases. Used every day. You move to an empty seat near the window. You sit down and watch the city. Each stop brings more people in and some people leave. The bus is becoming more crowded now. A mother is standing with her young child. The child is very sleepy and leaning against her. You stand up and offer your seat. She smiles and says gently, "Thank you so much." You reply, "You're welcome." That moment is short, but it is human, kind, and full of language meaning. Simple English, but powerful connection. You keep traveling, and soon, you hear a message from the speaker. "Next stop, City Museum." That is your stop. So you stand up, hold the rail again, and wait for the bus to slow down. The doors open. You step outside. The fresh air touches your face again. You look around, and you are now at a new part of the city. Maybe you go out, visit the museum, walk through beautiful rooms, read signs, watch videos, and learn new things. Time passes. And now it is afternoon. The day is getting warm. You are tired from walking. And you need to return to your hotel. But this time, maybe taking the bus is not the best choice. Maybe you want something faster. Something more private. So now you choose the taxi. You walk to the street and look around. You see a taxi approaching. You lift your hand slightly and the driver sees you. The car slows down and stops next to you. The window comes down and the driver asks, "Where to?" Such a simple question. You give the name of your hotel, slowly, clearly, confidently. The driver nods and says, "Get in." You open the door, sit inside, and close it gently. The seat is soft. The car smells clean. And suddenly, the world outside becomes quieter. Traveling by taxi is different. You feel more relaxed. You don't need to stand or squeeze between people. You can rest. You can look outside. Or you can talk to the driver if you want. Taxi drivers in many cities are interesting talkers. They know the city, the streets, the people, and the stories. So maybe you start a conversation. The driver asks, "Is this your first time here?" And you answer honestly, "Yes, it is. I'm learning my way around the city." The driver laughs and says, "Well, you're doing great so far." Simple English conversations. Friendly, human, natural. Not perfect grammar. Not complicated vocabulary. Just real communication. The taxi drives through a different part of the city. You see markets, small stores, children playing with a ball in the street, and a street musician playing guitar. The music flows through the air. You look. You listen. You feel. And all of this is part of your language learning journey. Because the more alive the memory, the stronger the English becomes in your mind. After some time, the taxi turns into a quieter street near your hotel. The driver slows down and parks near the door. He looks at the meter and tells you the price. You pay, smile, and say, "Thank you, have a nice day." And the driver responds, "You too. Enjoy your stay." You step out, close the door, and the car drives away. Now listen to this moment carefully. You have successfully traveled across the city, using both the bus and the taxi. And you did it while speaking English, listening to English, and experiencing English. This is how language becomes real. One journey at a time. One conversation at a time. One experience at a time. You walk back into the hotel, tired but proud. The day has been long, but it has taught you many things. Not only about the city, not only about buses and taxis, but about yourself. That you can communicate. That you can move confidently in another language. That learning English is not only about sitting at a desk or staring at a textbook. It is also about living, feeling and being inside the world where English is all around you. As the elevator takes you up to your room, you think about the moments of the day. Asking for a bus, waiting, watching people, listening to conversations, talking to a taxi driver, paying, saying goodbye. Every moment was English practice. And now English is not something outside of your life. It is part of your story. You unlock your room, step inside, close the door, and sit on the bed. The room is quiet. You look at the small window, and the last light of the afternoon shines gently. You take a deep breath and smile. The city taught you today, but the journey is not over. Tomorrow will bring another experience, another chance to practice, another story. This was just the beginning. The morning begins again. But today, you feel a little different. You wake up with more confidence because yesterday you learned that you can travel, speak, listen, and communicate in English. You stretch, sit up slowly, and smile. You are ready for another experience. You get ready, step out of your hotel room, and make your way to the street once again. The buses are already moving outside, and you decide today is a day to practice even more English by taking the bus again. You walk to the same bus stop. But today, something is different. Yesterday, you were a little nervous. Today, you are observing with more awareness. You see people waiting. A student with headphones. A businessman checking his watch. A mother holding her child's hand. Each person has a story, a destination, a purpose. And this time, instead of just standing quietly, you decide to practice preparing the real sentences and phrases you might need to use. A bus is coming, but not your bus yet. Someone next to you looks at the road and says in a soft voice, "Is this the right bus for Central Station?" You listen. The bus driver opens the window and replies, "No, you need the next one. Number 22. The person smiles and says, "Okay, thank you." You realize something important. Sometimes, speaking English in real life is not about long conversations. Sometimes, just being able to ask or answer one simple question can change everything. And now your bus arrives. You step forward. You enter. The same warm air, the same soft sound of people tapping cards and paying for tickets. This time, you want to use real English phrases yourself. You step up to the driver and say slowly, "1 ticket, please." The driver looks up, smiles, and hands you a small paper ticket. You pay and he says, "Thank you." Just 3 words. But you used English. Successfully. That small moment matters. Every small success builds confidence. You move deeper into the bus and find a seat. The bus begins to move. You take out your small notebook or maybe your phone and begin to listen. Truly listen. Not only with your ears, but with your mind. Because on this bus, there are real conversations happening. The kind of English you do not always find in textbooks. A woman behind you begins a call. You can hear her clearly. She says, "Hi, yes, I'm on the bus now. I'll be there in about 10 minutes. This simple sentence gives you real-life English patterns. I'm on the bus. I'll be there in about 10 minutes. 2 phrases you can use anytime you are traveling. Another man nearby is talking to the driver when the bus stops suddenly. He says, "Could you open the back door, please?" And the driver responds, "Sure, no problem." You realize something important. The phrase "could you" is a polite, natural way to ask for something in English. Not difficult. Not complicated. Just polite and real. You look outside the window. Buildings move slowly past you. You see a pharmacy, a bakery, a bookstore, a street cafe with 2 people sitting and enjoying tea. Daily life is happening everywhere, and you are right in the middle of it. While watching, you hear a boy next to you ask his mother, "How many stops until we get there?" The mother smiles and says, "Only 2 more stops." Stop. Feel this moment. Listening to real conversations trains your brain to understand natural English rhythm. English spoken on the bus is not like English spoken in school. It is faster, softer, and sometimes very short. But once your ears adjust, everything becomes clearer. Let us imagine now that you are traveling with a friend. Your friend is also learning English. The bus stops and the recorded voice says, "Next stop, Grand Market." Your friend looks confused and asks, "Is this where we get off?" And you want to answer. You think and say, "No, not yet. One more stop." That short sentence is enough. You communicated clearly. You helped someone. You used English without fear. That is progress. The bus continues. Music is playing softly from someone's headphones. You can hear a quiet rhythm of drums and guitar. Someone near the back coughs. The engine hums below your feet. You smell the light scent of coffee from a paper cup someone is holding. When you experience the world with your senses, English becomes alive, real, and connected to memory. Then, something interesting happens. A tourist enters the bus at the next stop. She looks unsure. She walks to the driver and asks in English, but slowly, clearly, because she is not fluent. "Excuse me, does this bus go to City Park?" The driver answers, "Yes, it does. Sit anywhere and I'll let you know when we reach the stop." The tourist sighs with relief and says, "Thank you so much." You realize this is exactly the kind of conversation many language learners face. Asking for help. Finding the right bus. Checking the destination. And here are some useful real phrases that people use in this situation. Does this bus go to? Is this the right bus for? How many stops until? Could you tell me when we reach? I'm not sure. Could you help me? These phrases are like keys. Once you learn them, doors open everywhere. A man sitting near the front turns to the tourist and adds kindly, "If you're going to City Park, you should get off after 5 stops. She smiles and says, "Thanks." You notice something. Most real-life English conversations are short, friendly, and helpful. Strangers helping each other. Small exchanges with big importance. And inside your mind, something is changing. English is no longer a school subject. It is becoming a tool you can use freely. The bus slows down again. People stand up. One person presses the button that makes a soft ding sound. The sign above the door lights up, "Stop requested." That little light and sound are also part of English learning experience. Now you understand what that means. Someone wants to get off at the next stop. You now understand the system not because someone taught it to you directly, but because you experienced it yourself. The bus stops. Doors open. People leave. More people enter. Life continues. And so does your learning. Let's pause here for a moment. I want you to imagine that someone sits beside you and asks, "Is this seat taken?" How would you answer? In natural English, you could say, "No, go ahead." "Sure, please sit." "It's free." "No, it's available." No long grammar rules needed. Simple, human phrases. Now imagine the opposite. You want to sit, and the bus is crowded. You see one empty seat next to someone. You could ask, "Is this seat free? Do you mind if I sit here?" Small phrases, but so useful. The bus keeps moving. The recorded message plays again. Next stop, River Street. Suddenly, an older man looks worried. He checks outside and asks another passenger, "Excuse me, is River Street still coming?" The passenger smiles and says, "Yes, after this one." The old man relaxes. Another real conversation. Another real example. And once again, English is used to ask, help, and reassure. You begin to notice something beautiful. Real English is a series of small exchanges. Not big speeches. Not complicated grammar. Just real life happening sentence by sentence. Now imagine someone beside you starts a friendly conversation. He says, "It's a nice day today, isn't it?" You want to reply, You smile and say, "Yes, it's beautiful." Or, "Yes, the weather is perfect." Short sentences, natural responses. And now a conversation has begun. Maybe he asks, "Are you new in the city?" You answer honestly, "Yes, I'm visiting. Still learning my way around." He nods and says, "Well, you'll love it here. Lots to see." And if you are confident, you might ask a question back. "What's your favorite place in the city?" He thinks for a second and says, "Probably the old market. Great food, great people." Suddenly, you're talking. In English. On a bus. With a stranger. That is a real milestone in language learning. Not just listening. Not just repeating. Communicating. The bus continues until finally, your stop is coming. You stand up and prepare. This time, you want to use a natural English phrase. So you politely say to the person near the aisle, "Excuse me, I need to get off here." They smile and let you pass. You press the red button. The soft ding plays again. The bus slows. The doors open. You step out. And you have just completed a real English conversation journey inside a bus. You're standing on the street now. The wind touches your face gently. The bus drives away. And you feel it, learning English is possible. Not only possible, but enjoyable. You didn't memorize vocabulary. You didn't repeat grammar rules. You lived through a normal moment in English. And that is how real language grows. When the bus disappears around the corner, you start walking. Another part of the city waits for you. Another challenge. Another memory. And soon, you will also learn how taxis, restaurants, hotels, museums, markets, and even small talk all become part of your English world. But for today, this journey on the bus has taught you something very important. With simple sentences, clear listening, and small steps, English becomes not something you study, but something you live. The sun is beginning to set. The sky turns orange and gold. The streets soften with evening light. You have been walking for hours, discovering new parts of the city, feeling the rhythm of the people and the language. But now you are tired. Your legs feel heavy. Your backpack seems a little heavier than before. And the idea of waiting for a bus again feels too slow. You need something quicker. Something simple. Something direct. You decide it is time to take a taxi. You step onto the sidewalk and look around. Cars move past you. People cross the road. A group of teenagers laugh near a shop entrance. And then you see it, a yellow taxi with its light on. Available. Waiting. Ready. You lift your hand slightly, just like people do in movies. The taxi driver sees you and slows down. The car stops gently beside you. The window rolls down, and the driver looks at you with a friendly expression. "Where to?" he asks. This is your first bit of English in this new situation. You feel a small moment of nervousness, but you breathe deeply and answer clearly. "To Riverside Hotel, please." Your voice may be simple. Your sentence may be short. But you have spoken. You have communicated. And the driver understands you perfectly. He nods and says, "Sure, get in." You open the door, slide into the seat, and close the door softly behind you. The taxi smells clean, maybe a little like lemon or mint. The seat is soft. The car is quieter than the bus. And suddenly, you feel a sense of relief. You are not standing, not holding railings, not surrounded by 20 people. You are sitting comfortably, and your journey has begun. The driver checks the mirror and asks, "First time in the city?" You smile and answer, "Yes, it is." "Where are you from?" he asks. This question appears often during travel. Taxi drivers love stories, and many are happy to talk. You answer politely, saying the name of your country. The driver gives a small nod of interest. "Oh, nice," he says. "I've never been there. What's it like?" Now, you have a choice. You could give a long answer. But you are practicing simple English. So you reply, "It's beautiful. Very different from here, but beautiful." The driver laughs gently and responds, "Every place has something special." This small conversation feels natural. No pressure. No grammar rules in your mind. Just speaking and connecting. This is the beauty of simple, real English. It lives in normal moments. The taxi moves through the streets. You look outside the window. You see restaurants lighting up for the evening. You see people sitting outside cafes, talking and laughing. You see buses still running, their lights shining warmly. And the city feels alive in a new way at night. Inside the taxi, the driver turns on soft music. Not loud, just enough to fill the space. A calm melody. Something peaceful. He asks, "So, did you have a good day?" You think about everything that has happened, everything you learned, and you say, "Yes, I walked a lot. I visited new places." The driver nods. "That's the best way to learn a city," he says. "Walk, see, talk to people." You smile. Because that is exactly what you are doing, not just learning streets, but learning English along the way. The driver continues. "How long are you staying?" You answer simply, "Maybe 3 days." He replies, "Not bad. Enough time to explore." You look outside again. And for a moment, you forget this is language practice. It feels natural, human, real. Now, imagine someone traveling in a taxi alone, feeling unsure, wanting to ask questions in English but not knowing how. Here are some simple, real-life phrases you can use in a taxi. "Could you take me to this address?" "How long will it take?" "Is traffic heavy today?" "Could you stop here?" "Can you drop me at the front entrance?" "Do I pay by card or cash?" These sentences are short. They don't need perfect grammar. You only need clarity and confidence. Back in the taxi, the driver slows as the car approaches a traffic light. A group of school children cross the street, laughing and running. One child waves at the taxi driver. The driver waves back with a smile. "Kids are always happy at this time," he says. "No school until tomorrow." You laugh softly, and the conversation continues naturally. Now, you decide to try something new. You ask the driver a question. A simple one. "What is the best place to visit in the city?" The driver thinks for a moment, then answers, "If you have time, go to River Park. It's beautiful at night. People go there to walk, eat, take photos." You nod. And you say, "Maybe I'll go tomorrow." The conversation continues. Not fast. Not complicated. Just simple storytelling between two people. This is an important moment. Because speaking English becomes easier when you are not afraid of making mistakes. When you speak naturally, slowly, with curiosity. And real conversations on buses, in taxis, in cafes are the best teachers. The taxi takes a turn, moving into a quieter neighborhood. The sunset is almost gone now, and the sky becomes dark blue. Streetlights shine. The city has changed again. You sit comfortably, enjoying the ride. Then something important happens, the driver says. "We're almost there." You look outside. You recognize your hotel building. You are close to your destination. And you want to ask another question. This time, "How much is the fare?" This is a useful sentence. Travelers use it every day. And in real conversation, the driver might answer, "It's $15. Or, €10, please." Or, "Just 7 today." Simple, direct, natural. In your case, the driver looks at the meter and says, "That'll be 12. You reach into your wallet, take out the money, and hand it to him. He gives you change and says, "Thank you." You say, "Thank you very much. Have a nice evening." He smiles. You too. Enjoy your stay. You open the door and step outside. The city is calmer now. People walking slowly. Lights glowing warmly. And you feel something new inside you, confidence. The taxi experience has taught you that even in small conversations, you can express yourself in English. Let's stay in this moment and reflect. You spoke to a real person. You listened to natural English. You answered questions. You asked questions. You traveled from one place to another using English alone. That is success. Not perfect grammar. Not long vocabulary lists. Real communication, the true goal of language learning. You walk into your hotel lobby. The person at the front desk looks up and says, "Good evening. How was your day?" You answer with a pleasant smile. "It was great. I learned a lot." And you mean it. You walk to the elevator, press the button, and wait. The elevator arrives with a soft ding sound. You step inside, look at the floor numbers, and press your floor. As the elevator rises, you think deeply. Today, I learned English not with a book, but with the world. I learned by living, seeing, and speaking. The elevator doors open. You step out, walk down the hallway, and enter your room. You put your bag down, sit on the bed, and exhale. The room is quiet. Outside, the city continues without you, but your story is just beginning. Because today, you learned something important. You don't need perfect English to travel. You don't need perfect sentences to speak. You only need courage, curiosity, and simple phrases that open the door to connection. Tomorrow, you will continue your journey. Maybe by metro. Maybe by walking. Maybe in a small cafe where you order breakfast in English for the first time. Each new experience will build more confidence. And piece by piece, day by day, English becomes not something you learn, but something you live. It is a new morning. The sun is soft and gentle. The city feels fresh, like a page waiting to be written. You step out of your hotel after breakfast, full of energy, ready for another day of exploring and learning English. Today, you decide to walk instead of taking a bus or taxi. Walking allows you to see more details, feel the city, and hear the language in its natural form. You check your phone. You want to visit a famous marketplace, a well-known spot filled with culture, food, and local life. You look at the small blue dot on the map and start walking. You feel confident. The streets are clear, you have a sense of direction, and for the first 10 minutes everything is easy. You pass a bakery. The smell of fresh bread fills the air. You see a bookstore where an old man stands outside reading a newspaper. You see a tiny flower shop with bright colors spilling across the sidewalk. Every corner reveals something new. You keep walking. You turn left, then right, then another left. Your phone suddenly loses connection. The map freezes. The screen shows no signal. You stop walking. You look around. Suddenly, things are not familiar anymore. You check the street signs, but none of them match the names you remember. The map is not loading. People are walking in different directions. And you feel it, that small, uncomfortable feeling many travelers experience at least once. You are lost. You take a slow breath. At first, you feel nervous. Your mind wants to panic. But then you remember something important. You are learning English not only for grammar, but for moments exactly like this. You look around and try to stay calm. You scan the street for someone who looks approachable, someone who might be willing to help. You see a woman standing near a small convenience store with a friendly expression. You decide to speak. Your first sentence is simple. "Excuse me, can you help me?" This sentence is powerful. It opens the door to communication in almost any situation. The woman turns to you and smiles kindly. "Sure," she says. "What do you need?" Your phone still has the last screen open. You point at the name of the market on your phone. You say, "I'm looking for this place." The woman looks at the name. Yes. You're going the wrong way." Your heart drops just a little. "Wrong way?" You ask. "Oh, really?" She nods. "Yes. It's actually about 15 minutes in the other direction." Then she points. "Just go straight. Then take a right at the big cafe and keep walking until you see the traffic light. You listen carefully, but the information is long. You are afraid you will forget. So, you ask another simple question. Could you repeat that, please? Slowly? She smiles, understanding your situation. Sure. Walk straight, right at the big cafe, and keep going until the traffic light. The market will be on your left. Now the instructions are clearer. You thank her. Thank you so much. And she answers. No problem. Enjoy your day. That's it. A real interaction. Natural English. And now you have new sentences that are incredibly useful in real life. Excuse me, can you help me? I'm looking for, could you repeat that, please? Slowly, please. Which direction should I go? How far is it? None of these sentences are difficult, but they're lifesavers when you're lost. You continue walking, following her instructions. You go straight. You see the big cafe. You turn right. Then you reach the traffic light. Everything seems correct, but something still feels strange. You walk another minute and stop. You look around. No signs of the market. This is the moment when learners often feel discouraged. But not you. Because you know now, being lost is not a failure. It is a learning opportunity. You see a man arranging vegetables outside a small shop. He looks relaxed. You approach him and speak. Excuse me, can I ask a question? He looks up and nods. Yes, of course. You show him the name of the market again. Is this place close? He laughs softly. Oh yes. You are almost there. Just 2 more minutes. 2 minutes? That is a relief. You ask. Straight ahead. Yes, straight. Thank you. He smiles. You're welcome. Simple. Short. Helpful. Every interaction teaches you something. And you continue walking. And soon, you see it colorful stalls, people talking loudly, fresh vegetables, fruit, spices, clothes, the smell of grilled food drifting through the air. You have arrived at the market. You walk in. The energy hits you. Sellers calling out prices. Customers bargaining. Children running. Music playing somewhere in the background. The market is alive. And the first thing you feel is satisfaction. You found the place using English alone. No translation app. No complicated grammar. Just courage and simple questions. You walk deeper into the market. A seller approaches you with a big smile. Hello, my friend. Fresh fruits. Very sweet. Wanna try? You laugh and say, maybe later. I'm just looking around. The seller nods and goes back to arranging his fruits. You hear different voices, accents, and speaking speeds. Some people speak fast. Some slow. Some with local accents. Some with foreign accents. You realize something important. Real English is not one perfect sound. It is different voices, different rhythms, different lives. As you walk, you decide to buy a drink from a small stall. The person behind the stall greets you. What can I get for you? You read the menu and say, 1 lemon tea, please. She prepares it quickly and hands it to you. That'll be $2.50. You pay. She smiles and says, thank you. Enjoy. You reply, thank you. Each small interaction gives you more confidence. After walking for a while, you reach the other end of the market. You see a small open area with benches. You sit down, sip your drink, and rest. You watch people walking in every direction and think. A few minutes ago, I was lost. But I spoke to 2 people, asked 2 questions, and now I am exactly where I wanted to be. This is real learning. Grammar is important. Vocabulary is important. But courage, the courage to speak, even imperfectly, is the real key. Let's imagine another scenario. You are in a new country. You are lost. You see someone who looks friendly. You could say, excuse me, do you know where the museum is? How do I get to the station? Is it far from here? Left or right? Could you show me on the map? These sentences are short, safe, and widely understood. You don't need long sentences. You don't need perfect grammar. You need clarity, calm, and confidence. Back in the market, you finish your drink and stand up again. The day is not over. You want to explore more. But now your phone signal returns. The map loads. The city is clear again. You smile, but you also realize something valuable. Sometimes, not having the map is better for learning. When the phone does all the work, your brain doesn't grow. But when you speak to real people, ask for help, and listen, your English becomes stronger. You walk back through the market. You pass the same fruit seller again. He recognizes you and smiles. Back again, my friend. Wanna buy now? You laugh and say, maybe just one apple. One? No problem. He hands you a shiny red apple. That's $1. You pay, say thank you, and continue walking. Small exchanges. Natural learning. As you exit the market, you pause for a moment. You stand under the warm sun and reflect. Today, the city was your classroom. The streets were your textbooks. The people were your teachers. And the experience taught you something no grammar book ever could. Even when you feel lost, English can help you find your way. You start walking back toward the main road. Your steps feel lighter. Your shoulders more relaxed. Your mind more confident. You are learning not just English words, but English life. After exploring the market, your legs are a little tired and your stomach begins to speak louder than your mind. The smell of fresh food from the market stays in the air, and you realize it's time for lunch. You decide to look for a restaurant nearby, a place where you can sit, relax, and practice more real-life English. You walk down a street lined with small shops and cafes. Some places look modern. Some look traditional. Some are crowded. Some are quiet. You choose a medium-sized restaurant that looks friendly, warm, and comfortable. Inside, you see people talking, laughing, eating, and enjoying themselves. A waiter smiles and walks toward you. He asks the classic question, "Table for one?" You nod. "Yes, just one, please." The waiter picks up a menu and gestures for you to follow him. You walk between tables and sit next to a window. The light is soft, the music is calm, and the atmosphere is perfect for learning. He places the menu in front of you and says, "Here you go. I'll be back in a moment." You open the menu. The words are simple, but some dishes are unfamiliar. This is another moment where English learning becomes real. You are hungry, but you also want to feel confident ordering something you understand. The waiter returns a minute later and asks, "Are you ready to order?" You smile politely and say, "One moment, please." This is a useful sentence. Instead of feeling pressured, you buy yourself time. You look again at the menu. There is pasta, soup, sandwiches, grilled chicken, salads, desserts, and different drinks. Then you realize something. Just because you are learning English doesn't mean you must always understand the menu alone. Asking questions is also communication. The waiter returns again. "Ready?" You look up and say, "I have a question. What is the difference between the chicken salad and the grilled chicken plate?" The waiter explains. "The chicken salad is cold. It comes with vegetables and dressing. The grilled chicken plate is hot, with rice and vegetables." Now you understand clearly. You choose. "I'll have the grilled chicken plate, please." The waiter asks another common question. "Anything to drink?" You scan the drink list. Water is simple, but maybe you want something more local. "Do you have fresh juice?" "Yes, we have orange, mango, and pineapple." You decide. "Mango juice, please." "Sure, thank you. Your food will be out soon." He walks away. You close the menu and feel proud. No confusion. No stress. Just simple English that works in the real world. As you wait for your food, you look around the restaurant. A family at the next table laughs as their child tries to eat spaghetti with the wrong end of the spoon. A couple near the window talks quietly over coffee. People eat, talk, live, and you are part of it. This is the beauty of learning a language in real settings. Every environment becomes a classroom. After a few minutes, the waiter brings your drink first. Here's your mango juice. You smile. Thank you. He replies. You're welcome. Simple, polite, natural. You take a sip. It's cold, sweet, refreshing. You look outside the window and watch the street go by. People walking, deliveries happening, a cyclist ringing a bell, a dog pulling its owner towards something interesting. The city continues, but inside, everything feels slower. After a moment, the waiter returns with your food. Grilled chicken with vegetables and rice. Enjoy your meal. You answer. Thank you very much. You take your first bite. Delicious. The food is soft and warm, seasoned perfectly. You feel satisfied not just by the taste, but by the experience of navigating everything in English. As you eat, you overhear a conversation at another table. Two friends are speaking English, one native speaker, one learner. You notice something important. The learner makes mistakes, but the native speaker understands anyway. This teaches you a powerful lesson. Good communication is not about perfect grammar. It is about being understood. You finish most of your meal. The waiter returns and asks, "How is everything?" Useful response options. It's very good. Delicious, thank you. I'm enjoying it. It's great. You choose. It's very good, thank you. The waiter smiles and walks away. As you relax, you think about how many small but important sentences you used today. Table for one, please. One moment, please. What is the difference between? I'll have. Do you have? Thank you. These are small tools, but they open large doors. When you finish your meal, the waiter returns again. Would you like dessert? You check the menu again. Cake, ice cream, fruit salad, and something called chocolate lava. That sounds interesting, but you want to know more. What is chocolate lava? He explains. It's a warm chocolate cake with melted chocolate inside. That sounds perfect. I'll try that, please. He nods. Excellent choice. A few minutes later, he brings the dessert. When you cut into the cake, warm chocolate flows out like a river. You take a bite. Rich, sweet, soft. You close your eyes for a second. Sometimes language learning is delicious. When you finish dessert, you decide it's time to leave. You make eye contact with the waiter and say, "Excuse me, could I have the check, please?" This is one of the most useful sentences in a restaurant. The waiter nods, adds up the total, and returns with the bill. He says, "Whenever you're ready." Some people leave the money on the table. Some pay at the counter. You're not sure what is normal here, so you ask, "Do I pay here or at the front?" He smiles. "You can pay here. No problem." You hand him the money or card. He processes the payment and hands you your receipt. "Thank you. Have a great day." You respond. "You too. Thanks for the service." You stand up, put on your bag, and leave the restaurant with a full stomach and a fuller sense of confidence. Outside, the sun is still bright. People continue their day, but you pause and reflect on everything you accomplished in just one meal. You entered a new restaurant alone. You spoke to a waiter in a different language. You read a menu. You asked questions. You ordered food confidently. You understood the responses. You handled payment and conversation smoothly. None of this required advanced grammar. No long sentences. No perfect accent. Just calm sentences, clear communication, and a willingness to speak. You continue walking down the street, feeling the gentle weight of accomplishment. Language is no longer just something you study, it is something you live. Let's imagine another situation that could happen in a restaurant. Scenario: something is wrong with the food. Maybe the soup is too cold. Maybe the chicken is undercooked. Maybe you received the wrong dish. These moments are uncomfortable, but also important for your English growth. You could say, "Excuse me, I'm sorry. This soup is cold. Could you heat it up, please? I think I ordered the pasta, not the salad. This isn't what I asked for. Could I change it, please?" Again, polite, simple, effective. Most restaurant staff appreciate calm and respectful communication. Even if your English is not perfect, they will understand. Scenario: asking for substitutions. Maybe you don't want onions. Maybe you prefer rice instead of fries. You could say, "Could I have it without onions? Could I change the fries for salad? Is it possible to make it less spicy?" These short sentences give you control and show that you are now speaking English for real life, not only exams. Body language matters too. In restaurants, communication is more than words. Your tone, facial expression, and gestures also speak. A smile makes everything easier. A relaxed attitude communicates confidence. And even if your sentences are simple, good body language communicates your meaning clearly. Leaving the restaurant. You continue your walk after lunch. The city feels friendly, familiar. You notice something interesting. The more English you use in real life, the less scary it becomes. You start thinking in English more naturally. You begin to form sentences in your head before speaking. Words come faster, smoother, easier. You realize that every real English situation, ordering food, asking for directions, saying hello, asking questions, is training your brain in ways that no classroom alone can. The restaurant was not just a place to eat. It was a language lesson disguised as lunch. The world is full of classrooms when you look with learning eyes. As you walk away, you feel proud of yourself. You faced a real situation and succeeded. You did not freeze. You did not panic. You communicated like a real person in a real situation. Your confidence grows. And now your day continues. There are more streets to walk, more people to meet, more English to experience, not just study. Your journey as a learner is becoming a journey as a communicator. After leaving the restaurant, you step back into the street, refreshed and ready for the next part of your day. The sun is warm, the air is comfortable, and people around you are walking, talking, and going about their everyday lives. You notice something up ahead, a long row of shops. Some sell clothes, some electronics, some handmade goods, some souvenirs. You decide to explore. Shopping is another everyday situation where English becomes living language. Whether you want to buy something or just look, stores give you a perfect opportunity to practice conversation with real people in real time without stress. You begin walking along the shops. The windows display colorful shirts, jackets, dresses, sunglasses, watches, small gifts, and local crafts. As you look around, a shop owner smiles and waves to you. "Hello. Come in. Take a look." You step inside. The shop is small but cozy, filled with neatly arranged items and warm lighting. The owner stands behind the counter, friendly and welcoming. You begin by saying a simple sentence that is always safe. "Just looking, thank you." This releases social pressure. You are free to explore at your own pace. The owner nods. "No problem. Let me know if you need anything." You walk through the shelves and notice a jacket that catches your eye. The color is nice, the material looks soft, and it might be perfect for cooler evenings. Now you want to ask about it, but how? The simplest question is, "How much is this?" You turn to the shopkeeper and ask, "Excuse me, how much is this jacket?" He walks over and looks at the price tag. "That one is $50. You think for a moment. Maybe it's a little more than you expected. In many places, it's okay to ask another natural question. "Do you have anything cheaper?" Not rude, not demanding, just a normal part of shopping. The shopkeeper nods and shows you another jacket. This one is $35. You look at it, touch the fabric, compare. Still unsure. You want to think more and ask a question many people use. Can I try it on? The shopkeeper smiles. Of course. The changing room is over there. You step inside, zip up the jacket, and check the mirror. It fits nicely, but the sleeves are a little long. You decide to step back out and ask, "Do you have this in a smaller size?" He checks the rack. Yes, one moment. He hands you a smaller size. You try again. This one fits perfectly. Now you feel more confident, but before buying, you want to do something many shoppers do. You try a little negotiation. It's nice, but a little expensive. Is there any discount? The shopkeeper thinks for a moment, then smiles. Okay for you, I can make it 30. You laugh a little inside. It worked. A small bargain, a friendly exchange. All right, I'll take it. He folds the jacket carefully and places it in a bag. You walk to the counter to pay. As you take out your wallet, the shopkeeper asks, "Do you need anything else? Maybe a scarf or a hat?" You shake your head politely. "No, thank you. Just the jacket." He nods and prints the receipt. "Here you go. Have a great day." You respond, "Thank you. You too." You leave the store satisfied, not just because you bought something useful, but because you completed the entire interaction using everyday English. Simple sentences, natural conversation, real communication. As you continue walking, you enter another shop, a souvenir store selling small gifts, keychains, postcards, magnets, local crafts, and handmade items. A friendly young woman behind the counter welcomes you. "Hello. Feel free to look around." You smile. "Thank you." You browse the souvenirs and choose a small wooden carving. You want to know more about it, so you ask, "What is this made of?" She explains, "Local wood. Everything is handmade." You nod and ask another useful question. "Is it made here in this city?" "Yes. We have a workshop just outside town." This is polite curiosity, a great conversation starter. Then you ask another practical question. "How much does it cost?" $10. Not too expensive. You think about buying a couple more as gifts. You ask, "If I buy 3, is there a discount?" The woman smiles. "Yes, I can make them $8 each." "Perfect. I'll take 3, please." As she wraps them, you ask, "Do you take card or cash only?" This is another extremely useful question in travel English. She answers, "We take both." You hand her your card. She processes the payment and hands you the items. "Thank you." You reply, "Thank you. Have a nice day." Simple, smooth, natural. As you continue your walk, you reflect on how many useful expressions you used in a short time. Just looking. How much is this? Do you have anything cheaper? Can I try it on? Do you have it in a smaller size? Is there any discount? Do you take cash or card? These are sentences you can use in almost any store in the world. Now imagine another shopping situation, buying something in a supermarket. You enter a large store with shelves of fresh produce, drinks, snacks, dairy products, bread, and more. You pick up a basket and start walking through the aisles. You want to buy bread, milk, and fruit, but you cannot find the milk. You see an employee arranging items on a shelf. You want to ask for help, but you want to sound polite and natural. You say, "Excuse me, where can I find the milk?" The employee points. "It's in aisle 6 on the right." You smile. "Thank you." Later, you realize you want a bag of rice, but the package is too big. You want to ask for a smaller size. You go to another staff member and say, "Do you have this in a smaller bag?" He checks the shelf. "Yes, right here." Again, problem solved with one simple question. You continue shopping and finally walk to the checkout counter. The cashier smiles. "Did you find everything okay?" You answer, "Yes, thank you." She scans the items and asks, "Do you need a bag?" Useful responses. Yes, please. No, thank you. I have my own bag. You choose. Yes, please. She totals the cost and asks, cash or card? You respond, card. You tap or swipe your card, collect your items, and say, thanks. Have a nice day. She replies, you too. Simple, natural, real English. As you leave the store, you think about how many small conversations you successfully completed today. None of them were dramatic. None required complicated vocabulary. But this is how language fluency grows, not through long textbook dialogues, but through small daily conversations that become easier each time. Asking for descriptions. Now imagine another scene. You are in a clothing store looking at a pair of shoes. They look comfortable, but you want to know what material they're made of. You ask, what material is this? The salesperson responds, leather. Or maybe you want to ask whether the shoes are waterproof. Are these waterproof? You could also ask, do they have good support for walking? These questions are practical. You don't need academic language. You just need sentences that help you understand the product. If something doesn't fit or work. Sometimes, shopping comes with a challenge. Maybe you bought something that doesn't fit when you get home. You return to the shop and say, hi, I bought this yesterday, but it's too small. Can I exchange it? Or, is it possible to return this? Or even, I don't have the receipt. What can I do? The staff will usually explain the policy. Even if you don't know every word, you have opened the conversation. Asking for opinions. Shopping also gives many opportunities to practice conversation that uses feelings or opinions. For example, you hold up a shirt and ask, what do you think of this color? Or, does this look good on me? These simple questions help you practice speaking naturally and reacting to answers. Learning through body language. Shopping also teaches another important part of communication, nonverbal language. When people show items with gestures, smile, step back to give you space, or use their hands while speaking, your brain understands even before the words finish. When communication includes voice, body, and context, language becomes easier and faster to process. You leave with more than bags. As you finish your shopping and step back onto the street, you're not only carrying a jacket, some snacks, or souvenirs. You are carrying something much more valuable. Experience. Today you entered shops confidently, asked questions naturally, compared products, bargained politely, understood answers, completed purchases in English. None of this required advanced vocabulary. No complicated grammar books. Just real human interaction. The world is your classroom, and every store is a lesson. You walk down the street and feel something new, a quiet confidence growing inside you. You are no longer just learning English. You are using English the same way millions of people use it around the world daily, in supermarkets, clothing stores, markets, cafes, bakeries, and malls. And with each conversation, each sentence, each question, the language becomes not just words, but a tool you can use anywhere. After shopping, you step back onto the main street. The afternoon sun is warm but gentle, the sky is clear, and the streets are busy with life. People walk quickly, bicycles pass, buses come and go, and distant sounds of car horns blend into the background like part of the city's music. You decide to visit a famous place in town, a museum, a park, a monument, a historical building, but you are not sure where it is. Maybe you looked at a map earlier, but now you are on a new street and unsure of the direction. This is a perfect moment for one of the most common real-life English challenges, asking for directions. You walk to the side of the road, look around, and notice a friendly-looking person standing near a bus stop. You take a deep breath. Even if your English is simple, you know you can do this. You smile and begin the conversation. Excuse me, can you help me? The person turns and smiles back. Sure. What do you need? You ask. I'm looking for the city museum. How do I get there? This sentence is powerful. Clear. Simple. Direct. The person thinks for a moment and then gives directions. Go straight for 2 blocks, then turn left at the traffic light. The museum will be on your right. You listen carefully, but you want to repeat the instruction to make sure you understood correctly. So you say, straight for 2 blocks, left at the traffic light, and the museum is on the right? The person nods. Yes, that's right. You smile. Thank you very much. The person replies, You're welcome. Enjoy your visit. You begin walking in the direction they described. The street is lively with shops and small cafes. But after 1 block, you suddenly realize something you lost count. Was that 1 block or 2? Should you turn now or continue? Instead of panicking, you ask someone else. This time, you enter a bakery and walk toward the counter. The smell of bread fills the air. A worker behind the counter greets you. Hello. You return the greeting. Hi. I'm sorry, can I ask you something? The worker nods. Of course. You ask, Is the city museum this way? She replies, Yes. Just keep going straight for 1 minute. It's near the big fountain. This is another common direction method: landmarks. Instead of street names or numbers, people use familiar objects. Fountain, bridge, big building, church, gas station, park. Landmarks make directions easier when you're unfamiliar with the area. You thank her. Thank you. Have a nice day. She smiles. You too. You step out of the bakery and see something helpful: a large map posted on the sidewalk. It shows streets, buildings, parks, and major points of interest. You scan the map and recognize the fountain the woman mentioned. Yes, you're on the correct path. You continue walking, and suddenly the street opens into a large plaza. In the center is a beautiful stone fountain spraying water gently into the air. Children sit along the edge, dipping their fingers into the water. Tourists take pictures. Locals relax on benches. Just as the woman said, you spot the museum across the plaza. You made it. But before you enter, you take a few minutes to think about what you learned. Even a simple situation like asking for directions teaches important skills. Starting a conversation politely. Using simple English to ask questions. Listening for short instructions. Confirming what you understood. Recognizing everyday words like left, right, straight, block, corner, traffic light. These small pieces of communication are the tools that make travel English real and alive. Common phrases for asking directions. Imagine you're in a hurry or the street is busy. You may need simpler sentences. Where's the train station? Which way is the park? How far is it? Am I going the right way? Or, is it near here? These are short but powerful. Even if someone speaks fast, these sentences help you start the conversation. Understanding directions when people speak quickly. Native speakers often give directions fast. For example, yeah, walk down this road, take the second left. You'll see a bank on the corner and the train station is across from it. That's a lot to catch at once. But there are strategies. 1. Focus on keywords. Left, right, straight, corner, blocks, across, behind, next to, in front of. Even if you miss some words, these keywords help form the route. 2. Ask for repetition. Could you say that again, please? 3. Ask them to slow down. Could you speak a little more slowly? 4. Repeat back what you understood. So, it's straight and then left at the bank, right? This confirms you're correct. 5. Ask for landmarks. Is there something I will see on the way? People might say, Yes, you'll see a school on your left. There's a bridge, you can't miss it. It's next to a supermarket. Landmarks help your brain build a picture. Asking directions with maps and phones. Sometimes you want to use your phone map but need help understanding. You could say, Is this the right way? Is this the correct street? Should I turn here? Or hold up your phone and ask, could you show me on the map? People often love helping, especially when they see you trying. A real-world example. Imagine you are in a foreign country where streets look similar and signs are confusing. You want to reach the river. You ask someone, excuse me, how do I get to the river? The person replies, go straight, then cross the bridge and you'll see it. You follow the instructions, but after a minute, you think, did they say first bridge or second? Instead of guessing blindly, you ask another person, sorry, is this the way to the river? They point straight ahead. Yes, keep going. It's 5 minutes. Notice something important. Even when you are unsure, asking gives you control. If someone doesn't know, sometimes the person you ask doesn't know the answer. They might say, I'm not from here. I'm not sure. Sorry, I don't know. This is okay. You thank them anyway and ask someone else. Not knowing is part of real life, not a language mistake. Using directions inside buildings. Directions aren't only for streets. Sometimes you need help inside buildings, malls, stations, airports. For example, where's the bathroom? Which way to the ticket counter? Where is gate 12? How do I get to the information desk? Staff may answer, it's upstairs. Take the elevator to the second floor. Go down the hall and turn right. It's next to the cafeteria. Again, keywords matter. When you are helping someone else, one day, someone might ask you for directions. Even if your English is simple, you can help by using short sentences. Go straight and turn left. It's near the post office. You can walk 5 minutes. Not far from here. Helping others gives you even more practice and confidence. Learning from street signs and symbols. As you walk, you start noticing signs that help without words. Arrows pointing left or right, walking symbols, bus stops, map, boards, crosswalk signals, traffic lights. Your brain begins connecting images with language. Red light, stop, green light, go, blue sign, information, exit, way out, toilets, bathroom, metro, subway, train, taxi stand, taxi pickup area. The world becomes your teacher. Returning to the museum. You walk across the plaza toward the museum. The building is tall, with classic columns, wide steps, and an impressive entrance. Visitors take photos in front while others sit on the steps enjoying the afternoon. You climb the stairs and enter. Inside, the air is cool and quiet. The echo of footsteps follows you gently as you walk toward the ticket counter. You feel proud. You navigated the streets of a new city using English. Not perfect English, practical English. The ticket clerk greets you. Hello. How can I help you? You reply, 1 adult ticket, please. She asks, do you want the audio guide? You check the price and respond, yes, please. She hands you a ticket and guide and says, follow the signs to the beginning of the exhibit. You nod, thank you. But suddenly, you don't see the signs. You look around and ask a staff member nearby, excuse me, where do I start the tour? He points to the left. Go down that hallway and the entrance is on the right. Again, the same process. Question, direction, understanding, action. With every real interaction, your English becomes stronger. Reflection. As you move deeper into the museum halls, surrounded by art, history, or culture, you think about your day. You traveled by bus and taxi. You ordered food. You shopped. And now you asked for directions. Each situation used simple English. But those simple sentences solved real problems. And as you used them, your confidence grew piece by piece. Fluency is not built in a classroom, it is built in moments like these. Small moments that feel normal, but shape who you become. You realize something important. When you use English in real life, the language becomes part of your world, not something separate, not something frightening, but a natural and comfortable tool you can carry anywhere. Your journey is far from over. The day still has more stories to tell. In many cities around the world, Waiting in line is a normal part of taking a bus or a taxi. Maybe you see a long line of people at the bus stop. Maybe there are many people ahead of you waiting for a taxi. And in these moments, you may feel a little stressed or worried. You may think, will I make it on time? Will the bus be full? Will I have to wait again? Today English Podcast is here to guide you through this experience in simple, calm, and friendly English, so you can learn the language and the feeling behind real travel moments. Imagine this scene. You are standing at the bus stop. It is early morning. The sky is soft and gray. The street is waking up. Some cars are passing slowly. People next to you are drinking coffee, looking at their phones, thinking about work, school, family, and their busy day. You hear the sound of birds and the city breathing quietly before the noise begins. And you are standing there, waiting, just like everyone else. The sign tells you that the bus should arrive in 5 minutes, but you know that buses sometimes come early, sometimes late. And you start thinking, what phrases can I use? What English can help me here? Let us practice what real English sounds like in these moments. Maybe someone behind you wants to know the time the bus comes. They smile and say, "Excuse me, do you know when the bus is coming?" You look at the display board. You smile back and answer, "Yes, the bus should be here in 5 minutes." Simple, friendly, natural. And now you are speaking English just like a real traveler. Maybe the person responds, "Oh, thank you. This is my first time taking this bus." And you can say, "No problem, I'm taking it too." It usually comes on time. These small sentences are not difficult, but they feel warm and real. They make you sound confident and comfortable. You begin to look around and listen. Someone else asks another question. Is this bus 42? They are probably worried they are standing at the wrong stop. But you can answer calmly, "Yes, this is bus 42. It goes to the city center." Maybe they smile and say, "Great, thank you so much." And now you are practicing English in a real-life moment, speaking slowly and clearly, helping someone else, and using English not like a textbook, but like a human being in a real situation. But what if the bus does not come? What if 5 minutes become 10 and then 15? Maybe you feel tired. Maybe you think, should I take a taxi instead? These are real thoughts travelers have. And if someone next to you sighs and says, "The bus is late again," you can answer in simple English, "Yes, I hope it comes soon." Or, "I might take a taxi if it doesn't come." These are real English expressions you will hear and use in cities all over the world. You do not need complicated grammar. You only need natural, simple sentences that sound like real conversation. This is how language becomes alive. Imagine another moment. You are standing in a long taxi line outside an airport. Many people are waiting. Some look tired. Some look excited. Some are talking on the phone. Someone behind you might ask, "Is the taxi line always this long?" You can answer politely, "Yes, it is usually busy at this time of day." Or if you don't know, you can say, "I'm not sure. It's my first time here." Honest, simple, polite, and real. That is good English. And just like that, you become a person who can survive in real travel situations, no panic, just clear communication. Now imagine a small challenge. A taxi arrives. Someone tries to skip the line and get in before the people waiting. What do? What do you say? You want to be polite but firm. In simple English, you can say, "Excuse me, there is a line. We are waiting." Not angry, not emotional, just calm and respectful. Most people will understand immediately. This is how language helps you speak confidently in real situations, even when something unexpected happens. Now imagine you are still waiting and someone wants to ask how long you have been in line. They might say, "How long have you been waiting?" And you can answer, "About 10 minutes. Or, "I just arrived." Or, "I hope it won't be too long." These sentences seem small, but they are the heartbeat of everyday English communication. You can survive with them anywhere: bus stops, taxi stands, airports, train stations, ferry terminals. Travel is full of waiting moments, and waiting moments are full of small conversations. But as you stand in line, something interesting happens. You begin listening. You hear English around you. Maybe you hear someone talking to a friend. If the bus doesn't come in 5 minutes, let's call a taxi. Or someone else saying, I'm going to be late for work. And without realizing it, your listening improves. You start to catch small words, small phrases, real everyday expressions. This is the secret many learners forget. English is all around us if we learn to listen. You do not need perfect grammar. You need attention. You need curiosity. You need ears that are ready to catch a little more each time. And as you wait in line, maybe you begin thinking about patience. Travel teaches patience. Waiting teaches patience. And language learning also teaches patience. When a beginner starts learning English, they sometimes think, I want to speak perfectly right now. But just like waiting for a bus, English takes time. Your listening grows slowly. Your speaking grows slowly. And one day, you realize that your English is not something you memorized. It is something you live. Standing in line is not just standing. It is a small lesson in life. You learn to breathe. You learn to wait. You learn to watch people. You learn to speak simply. You learn to stay calm. And every small conversation is practice. Every question someone asks you is an opportunity. Every answer you give is another step forward in your English fluency journey. Now imagine the bus finally arrives. It turns the corner. The lights shine in the early morning fog. People stand up a little straighter. The conversation stops. Phones go back into pockets and bags. Shoes shuffle forward. And now, a new moment begins: getting on the bus, finding a seat, paying the fare, speaking to the driver. But before that moment, we remember something important. Waiting is not wasted time. Waiting is learning time, listening time, observation time. Time to notice new accents, new expressions, new emotions. Time to practice simple English sentences that will help you every day of your life. And now, the bus door opens. The line moves. Your journey continues. And so does your English. The bus doors open with a soft sound, and suddenly everything becomes real. The waiting is over. Now it is time to move, to step forward, to begin the next part of your journey. People in the line start walking slowly toward the bus entrance. Some look sleepy, some focused, some in a hurry. And you walk with them. This is a new situation, and you will need simple, natural English to talk to the bus driver and communicate clearly, calmly, and politely. This is Today English Podcast, and I will guide you through this moment step by step, using slow, friendly English that feels real and true. As you reach the front of the line, the bus driver looks at you. Maybe they smile. Maybe they look tired. Bus drivers have long days, and they meet hundreds of passengers. You want to speak clearly and politely. The driver may ask something like, "Where are you going?" or "Do you need a ticket?" You are ready. You take a small breath and respond in natural, simple English. You might say, "1 ticket to the city center, please." Or, if you already have a card or pass, you can say, "I have a bus card." If the bus requires tapping a card on a machine, you follow the sign and tap. Maybe the machine beeps and the driver says, "Thank you." You smile and respond, "Thank you." If you are unsure whether the bus goes where you need, this is the perfect moment to ask. In simple English, you can say, "Does this bus go to the train station?" Or, "Is this the right bus for the museum?" The driver might answer, "Yes, about 10 stops," or "No, you need bus 12 instead." The key idea here is confidence without fear. The sentences are small, but the communication is powerful. You are speaking English in a real situation, and every sentence builds your fluency more than any grammar book can. Perhaps something more challenging happens. Maybe the driver speaks too fast. Maybe you don't understand every word. This is normal. Many learners think that not understanding is failure. But it is not. It is part of the journey. In this moment, instead of feeling nervous, you have another useful English phrase. In polite, friendly English, you can say, "Could you repeat that, please?" or "Sorry, I didn't catch that." These are natural, common sentences used around the world. The driver will usually repeat more slowly or speak more clearly. And when they do, your listening grows. You learn not only vocabulary but also confidence. Now imagine that the bus accepts only exact change. You open your wallet and notice that you do not have the correct amount. You want to solve the situation politely. You can say, "I don't have exact change. What should I do?" The driver may suggest paying on the bus, using a machine, or buying a ticket from someone else. No stress. No panic. Just calm communication. You discover that using English is not about knowing everything. It is about being willing to speak with the words you already have. Now you step into the bus and look around. People are sitting in seats, reading, listening to music, looking out of the window. Maybe the bus is crowded and there are no seats left. Someone smiles and says, "You can stand here." You say, "Thank you." And again, this is English. Simple English. Real English. Life English. But maybe you need to ask the driver one more thing before sitting down. Maybe you want to know how many stops until your destination. You can use simple sentences like, "How many stops until the hospital?" Or, "Can you please tell me when we reach Main Street?" Sometimes drivers agree. Sometimes they are too busy to remember. But asking is good practice, and it helps you use English actively, not passively. As you move down the aisle looking for a place to stand or sit, you feel a new sense of belonging. You are inside a city bus, using English to guide your journey. For many learners, this is a big milestone. They often think that English is something that happens in classrooms, on worksheets, in textbooks. But here, inside this bus, English is something alive. It moves with the real world. It solves real problems. It helps you go from one place to another. And with every sentence you speak, you become a more confident traveler and communicator. You finally find a seat. Maybe by the window. You sit down. Put your bag on your lap, and take a small breath. The bus engine starts. The doors close. And slowly, the bus begins moving forward. This moment feels peaceful. The city passes outside the window. Buildings, trees, shops, street signs, people walking to school, bicycles crossing the street. And you are here in motion in English. As the bus moves, you begin listening again. Maybe someone near you asks the driver, "Does this bus stop near the university?" Maybe someone else says, "Could you open the back door, please?" These phrases become part of your growing listening vocabulary. Without studying grammar rules, you are learning what English sounds like in real life. And slowly, your brain becomes more comfortable. You start to notice patterns. For example, "I need to get off at the next stop. Can you stop here, please?" "How long does it take to get downtown?" These are not long sentences. They are simple. But simple sentences are the secret of real communication. Native English speakers use them every day. And now you are learning to use them too. But then something happens. The bus suddenly slows down. Traffic is heavy. Cars stretch out in front like a long metallic river. Maybe you worry about time again. Maybe you think, "Will I be late?" Someone behind you sighs and says, "Traffic is terrible today." You can respond with small talk, simple English, such as, "Yes, it's very slow." Or, "I hope it gets better soon." Travel is full of waiting, delays, and uncertainty. But these moments are full of opportunities to practice short, natural expressions that make you sound fluent and friendly. You look at the map inside the bus. You see the stops. But you're not sure how far you are from your destination. You can ask another passenger politely, "Is the next stop Main Street?" Most people will be happy to help. Maybe they answer, "No, 2 more stops," or "Yes, that's the next one." And in that small conversation, you are not just practicing English. You are becoming part of the world around you. Now the bus reaches a major stop. People stand up, gather their bags, and move toward the door. You hear one of them tell the driver, "Thanks, have a good day." This is very common and very polite. If you want to use friendly, natural English, you can say the same when you leave. Kindness is universal, and polite words make every culture feel warmer. As the bus continues on, you realize something important. Taking a bus in another country is not just travel. It is language learning in motion. Every sound, every announcement, every small conversation is a lesson. You are not just studying English. You are living it. And this is the most powerful form of learning there is. Your journey continues, and soon it will be time to get off the bus. You will need to signal the driver, move safely, and prepare for the next part of the adventure. And with that, we arrive at the next chapter of your travel story. The bus continues moving through the city, and you can feel the rhythm of the journey now. The hum of the engine becomes part of the background. Doors open, doors close, people enter, people leave. You are sitting or standing there, watching everything quietly, and your stop is coming soon. Maybe you feel a little nervous. Maybe you think, how do I tell the driver I want to get off? Don't worry. Today English Podcast is here to guide you through this moment in simple, real, everyday English, the way real people speak when traveling on buses in English-speaking places around the world. You look around and notice other passengers. Some are pressing a red button to signal the driver. Some pull a small yellow cord attached to the window. In many cities, buses have a simple system. When you want to stop, you push a button near your seat. You might hear a soft sound, ding, and then a small sign lights up above the driver reading, "Stop requested." This tells the driver that someone wants to get off at the next stop. No long sentence, no complicated grammar, just a button. But what if there is no button? What if you need to speak? Imagine that you need to get off, but the bus has no stop button or you cannot find it. You need to tell the driver. In simple English, you can walk forward and say, "I need to get off at the next stop, please." If you are already near the front and the bus is slowing, you can say, "Could you stop here, please?" These sentences are short, but they're the real ones people use. You do not need long, difficult expressions. Simple is natural. Simple is powerful. Simple is real travel English. Now imagine another moment. The bus is very crowded. You are standing far from the driver. You want to get off, but you cannot reach the button. You might say to the person next to you, "Excuse me, could you press the button for me?" Most passengers will happily help because everyone understands the situation. And again, this small sentence becomes a big English step forward. Every real-life problem becomes a practice opportunity. Maybe the bus is new to you and you are not sure if the next stop is yours. You can ask someone near you, "Is the next stop Main Street?" or "Do we stop near the museum soon?" Even if the answer is short, one word or two, you grow more comfortable speaking to strangers in English. You learn something important. English does not have to be perfect to be helpful. Communication is about connection, not perfection. Now the bus reaches your stop. It slows down. People around you gather their bags and begin moving toward the exit door. You adjust your position, move carefully, and prepare to leave. You look up and see the door open with a soft sound. If you are sitting, you stand slowly. If you are standing already, you step forward with confidence. And as you walk toward the door, you see the driver looking at you. In many English-speaking places, it is polite to say something as you exit. You might say, "Thank you," or "Thanks, have a nice day." These small phrases are warm and friendly. They contribute to the culture of kindness that helps travelers feel welcome. If the driver responds with a simple, "You're welcome," or "Take care," it becomes another real English moment you experience without even thinking about grammar. Now imagine a small challenge. The bus is crowded and you need to move past people. You can politely say, "Excuse me, I need to get off." People will step aside and you can move forward calmly. Maybe someone behind you say, "Go ahead," and you answer, "Thank you." Every sentence becomes part of your growing library of travel English. You step off the bus and the air outside feels different. Maybe it is warmer, maybe cooler, maybe windy, maybe quiet. You have successfully traveled using English and communication skills that are real and practical. You walked, you asked questions, you listened, you signaled, and you exited calmly and with confidence. This is not just language learning. This is life learning. But your journey is not over. Maybe you still have to walk to your final destination. Maybe you need to transfer to another bus. Maybe you are heading to work, school, a friend's house, the airport, a job interview, a hotel, or an important appointment. Moving in a new country or a new language is full of details. And each detail gives you another chance to learn simple English that works in real life. You walk down the sidewalk, thinking about the bus experience. You might realize something surprising. Speaking English during travel is not about big, difficult words. It is about small sentences that solve real problems. Does this bus go to? One ticket, please. Is this my stop? Could you press the button for me? Thank you very much. These sentences carry you through the world. They help you survive in new cities, new cultures, new situations. Today, you practice not in a classroom, but in your imagination, inside a real moment, with real communication. And this is how English becomes part of your life, one step at a time, one sentence at a time, one journey at a time. Now you are standing outside the bus and the driver closes the doors. The bus slowly pulls away, heading toward the next stop, new passengers, new conversations. And you walk forward, proud that you traveled successfully in English. But now we will move into the next chapter of our learning journey, taking a taxi, speaking to a driver, explaining your destination, and communicating clearly from the moment you enter the car. Now we step into a new part of your journey. This time, you are not taking the bus. You are standing on a sidewalk or outside an airport or at a hotel entrance, and you decide to take a taxi. Maybe you are tired after a long day. Maybe you are in a hurry. Maybe it is raining. Maybe there are no buses at this hour. Whatever the reason, you raise your hand or you walk to a taxi stand, and soon a taxi pulls up in front of you. The window lowers. The driver looks at you. And once again, real English begins, simple, friendly, useful English that helps you travel in the real world. You open the door, step inside, and sit down. The seat is soft. The city sounds fade outside. In this small space, you and the driver need to communicate clearly, and that starts with one important sentence, telling the driver where you want to go. In natural, easy English, you can simply say, "To the train station, please," or "Please take me to Central Hotel." You don't need complex grammar. You don't need to sound perfect. Short, clear sentences are how real travelers speak. But what if the driver does not know your destination? Maybe the city is big. Maybe the place has a similar name to another street. The driver might ask, which entrance, or which part of the station? You can explain with small, simple sentences like, "The main entrance, please," or "Gate number 3, please." Even if you don't know the exact details, you can say, "I'm not sure, I think near the west side." A good taxi driver will help you understand and guide you closer to where you need to be. Imagine your destination is new to you. You don't know how far it is. You don't know how long it will take. It is completely natural to ask the driver, "How long will it take to get there, or is it far?" The driver might answer, "About 15 minutes," or "Not too far." These short exchanges build your travel confidence. You learn more English every time you ask a simple question. Sometimes you may want to know the price before the ride starts. This is very normal in many countries. You can say, "How much will it cost?" or "Do you use a meter?" The driver might show you the meter or tell you a fixed price. You may agree by saying, "Okay, that's fine," or politely say, "Sorry, that's too expensive." This is real English negotiation. Simple, respectful, useful in real life. Now imagine the taxi begins moving. The city slides past the window. Lights glow from stores and restaurants. People cross the street. Cars move like lines of shining metal. You settle into your seat. Maybe you want to enjoy the quiet. Maybe you want to make small conversation. Some people love to talk. Some drivers like silence. Every city is different. Every driver is different. If you want to start a polite conversation, you can say something like, "Is it always busy at this time?" or "How long have you been driving taxis?" These are friendly, harmless questions that many passengers ask. The driver may smile and answer, and suddenly you are practicing English not as a student, but as a real person in real communication. But maybe the opposite happens. Maybe the driver talks too fast. Maybe the accent is difficult. Maybe you feel nervous. If you do not understand, no problem. This is your moment to practice very important English survival phrases. You can say, "Could you speak more slowly, please?" Or, "Sorry, could you repeat that?" These sentences are your tools. They allow you to stay calm and communicate even when everything is new. As the ride continues, the driver might ask you something. Maybe, "Are you traveling for work or vacation?" Maybe, "Where are you from?" These are common taxi questions around the world. If you feel comfortable, you can answer with simple sentences like, "I'm here for a holiday," or "I'm studying here," or "I live here now." If you don't want to talk, you can just smile and give short answers. You control the conversation. Taxi communication is not a test. It is human interaction, and you can handle it with the simple English you already know. Now imagine something more stressful. The driver takes a wrong turn. You notice the car is going in a direction you don't recognize. Maybe you feel worried. This is the moment you need calm, clear English. You can ask, "Is this the right way?" or "I think we should go the other direction." These sentences are short but strong. They help you control your travel and protect your journey. If you want to help the driver, you can say, "I have a map on my phone," or "I can show you the location." These skills give you power, even in a new city. Maybe the driver explains the problem. "There is traffic ahead," they say. Or, "The main road is closed." You nod and understand. Traveling in a new city is unpredictable. Roads change. Traffic comes and goes. And every new situation becomes a new chance to practice simple English in a real-world context. The taxi continues, and soon you see your destination outside the window. Maybe it is a school, an office, a house, a hotel, a shopping mall, or a tourist attraction. Now you need to tell the driver to stop. Again, you don't need a complicated sentence. Simply say, "You can stop here, please," or "Right here is fine." The driver slows down, pulls over, and stops. Now you need to pay. Maybe the taxi has a meter. Maybe the driver tells you the amount. You can ask, "Can I pay by card?" or "Do you accept cash?" If the driver gives you change, you can say, "Thank you very much." If you don't need change, you can say, "Keep the change," a very natural and common expression when giving a small tip. You open the door, gather your things, and step out of the taxi. The driver might say, "Have a good day," and you can smile and answer, "You too." Again, a small exchange, but a warm one, and in that brief moment, you are part of the world, communicating smoothly in English. The taxi pulls away, and you stand on the sidewalk, feeling proud. You just traveled through a real situation in English. You spoke. You listened. You asked questions. You solved problems. And you did it all with simple, easy language that any learner can master. Now your journey continues. Maybe you are going inside a building. Maybe you have to ask for directions. Maybe you are ready to explore a new place. And soon, we will explore more English sentences that help you build confidence in every travel situation, paying fares, asking strangers for help, dealing with mistakes, and finishing your journey with calm and clarity. And so, our journey today comes to an end. You learned how to wait for a bus, speak to a driver, ask questions, travel by taxi, and move confidently using simple, real English. Remember, every step, every sentence, every small moment in travel is a chance to practice and grow. Thank you for listening to Today English podcast. Take a deep breath, feel proud of your progress, and get ready for your next adventure in English. Keep learning, keep speaking, and keep moving forward, one simple sentence at a time.